All right, welcome back everyone to David and History for the Ages. I thought I'd try another quiz with you guys. So I have a couple already up. People have liked doing them. There's one on general history. So far, no one has gotten 30 out of 30 on that one. That was the one that's my longest quiz. I did another one on World War II, just 20 questions, and more people did better on that one. This one's going to be just on ancient history, just 15 questions, so shouldn't take as long. Like the other quizzes, obviously, see if you could get all 30 on the general history. That would be pretty impressive, or see how you do. Leave a comment, how many you got right and what you thought of the quiz. And also, I'm kind of curious if you like the 30 question, 20 question, 15 question format. Which ones do you like better? And also, all the information in these quizzes I have in my History 110 playlist for this particular quiz. It's all ancient, early stuff, but we'll go through it and see how you do. Should be fun. All right, here you go. Test yourself. All right, first question. We'll start easy. The Nile River gave life to which ancient civilization? Now, I guess probably a lot of civilizations, but the first civilization it gave life to was ancient Egypt, right? So Egypt would be, of course, your best answer for that question. And almost everyone associates the Nile River with Egypt. So that's a good basic question to know. All right, number two. The Colosseum was built by which civilization? So this should be pretty easy, especially with a multiple choice. The Greeks, the Romans, or the Byzantine Empire? And the answer to that would be B, all right, the Romans. I'll pause a little bit between each question and answer to give you a little time to think. All right, here we go. Question three. Leonidas was the king of which Greek polis? Polis is a Greek city-state. And I gave you four choices here for the more famous Greek city-states: Athens, Sparta, Corinth, or Thebes. All right, and if any of you saw the movie The 300, I actually have a video on this whole story, and the answer would be B, Sparta. Of course, great fun movie to watch. Not that historically accurate, but very fun movie to watch. All right, and I do have a video on the Battle of Thermopylae. Really cool. All right. Question four. Which Greek writer wrote the Iliad and the Odyssey? All right, so that's maybe a little bit harder, but a lot of people should probably know this. And the answer is Homer. All right, Homer wrote the Iliad and the Odyssey. And these are both what we call epic poems. So even though they're nice thick, they look like a novel, but it's actually an epic poem. All right, question five. Who was the first Roman emperor, right? Caesar, Augustus, Hadrian, or Nero? And the answer to that is B, Augustus. Some people think it was Caesar. Caesar was never emperor. Augustus was the first emperor. Caesar took the title of Rex, ended up being assassinated, and then eventually get the rise of Augustus, who was first known as Octavian, becomes Augustus. All right, question six. Which was the largest Greek city-state? And again, gave you four options that most people have heard of: Athens, Sparta, Corinth, or Thebes. And the answer to that is A, Athens. Athens was the largest Greek city-state. And just if you're not familiar with this, a city-state basically is a term that means it's a city, but it's its own country, right? It's its own independent laws, own governing system. So each of these were cities, but they governed as their own independent law, even though they were all Greek. It's an interesting story, actually. Cover a lot of that in my, again, lectures on ancient Greece. All right, which Roman emperor built a wall that is now today in what we would say northern England, southern Scotland? Was it Hadrian, Claudius, Augustus, or Nero? And the answer to that is A, Hadrian's Wall. And actually, I do have an entire video on Hadrian's Wall. I've been there, absolutely stunning place to go and visit. It's actually really close to this beautiful place called the Lake District there. Gorgeous, gorgeous place. And there's some interesting history about Hadrian and Hadrian's Wall. And as you're watching any of these, if you're also like, oh, I really want to learn about that, can you give me the link for that video? Just stick it in the comments and I'll be happy to find that link for you if you can't find it right away. Just search in my site. All right, more than happy to share those with you. All right, question eight. Now make them a little bit harder. The Roman Emperor Constantine issued which edict that gave the religious toleration to Christians? Pretty big thing. I have an entire lecture on this as well. Is it the Edict of Nantes, Edict of Milan, or Edict of Worms? And the answer to that is B, Edict of Milan. Right? So Edict of Milan gave religious toleration to Christians inside of the Roman world. All right? Question 9. Who was the mother of the Roman Emperor Nero? Most people have heard of Nero. Crazy life story this guy had. Was it Messalina? Was it Agrippina or Agrippina? I've heard it pronounced both ways. Or Irene? And so the answer to that is B, Agrippina or Agrippina. In fact, he was very young, Nero, when he became into power, and we have coins when he first comes into power, and she's on one side of the coin and he's on the other side. So she was a pretty significant figure in the story of Rome and Nero. So pretty cool stuff there. All right, question 10. Which ancient civilization lived on the island of Crete and used a form of writing called Linear A? And the island of Crete there is down on the bottom of this map there, South Sea of Crete. And the answer to that was the ancient Minoans. The ancient Minoans, again, I have a couple lectures on them in my History 110 playlist. Really remarkable civilization. We've never translated Linear A, at least at the time I'm recording this, but that's question 10. All right, 11. The ancient Sumerians built what monumental architecture seen here? All right, and again, not multiple choice on this one, just see if you know it. It's a really good example of monumental architecture. It's located in what is modern-day Iraq, the city of Ur, and the answer is a ziggurat. Ziggurat, literally, just lecturing on that this week in my history courses. All right, question 12. I like this question. Which Athenian is known as the father of democracy, or at least Athenian democracy? And is it Draco, Solon, Cleisthenes, or Pericles? All very important men, actually, from ancient Athens. But the answer is C, Cleisthenes. Very important story of how he develops democracy, what we mean by democracy. The Athenian democracy is very different than our democracy. Technically, the United States is a democratic republic, for example. So really cool story on him, and that's the answer, C. All right, question 13. Which Roman emperor created the Tetrarchy? And that means rule of four. Was it Augustus, Claudius, Trajan, or Diocletian? And the answer is D, Diocletian on that one. A really important event in Roman history. Okay, question 14. 3 Punic Wars were fought between Rome and what other power of the time? I love the Punic Wars, great stories. You got lectures on all 3 of them. First Punic War, Second Punic War, Third Punic War, and the answer is Carthage. And if you can't see it on the map, Carthage is located in North Africa, right? Up there in North Africa. And last question, here we go. Hopefully you're doing well. Who wrote the history of the Peloponnesian War? And the answer to that, it's a tough one, made one pretty hard one, unless you know your history really well and your primary sources. A man named Thucydides. Thucydides wrote the history of the Peloponnesian War. All right, well, anyways, let's see how you did. Those are the 15 questions. And by the way, that's a war between Athens and Sparta, Greeks versus Greeks. All right. And so again, if you got 13, 14, or 15, I think you really know your ancient history expert, especially that last question was really tough. Even 10 to 12, I think well done. 7 to 10, you're a little bit of a novice in ancient history. I think if you got less than 6, you definitely need to brush up on your ancient history. So many times people just kind of ignore it. But I tell my students some of the things that happen in ancient history impact our world all the way until today. So I hope you enjoyed that quiz. Again, leave a comment how you did, how many you got right. Please share with others. And that's it. I hope everyone enjoyed that. Have a great day.